Also, on September 15th is supposed to be the end of the military exercise called Jade Helm, which began on July 15th and is scheduled to end on September 15th. Jade Helm has so far been very quiet and in fact has been the subject of a media blackout. But what many don't know is that in recent weeks, massive amounts of military machinery has been moving all across the US. For example, on August 7th, this massive convoy of military equipment was recorded in Wyoming. On the same day, this movement was captured moving east in Idaho. Still, on August 7th, this convoy was spotted being transported to Oregon. On August 10th, this video was released of massive military equipment movement in South Carolina. Then, on August 16th, in Colorado, and on August 19th in Mississippi. It leaves one to wonder if they are not preparing for some sort of massive civil unrest on or near September 15th. Unfortunately, it is perfectly possible that the formal end of Jade Helm will not terminate a variety of informal but still considerable military activities. This would constitute a grave constitutional realignment for the US's socio-political system, and one from which the country might never recover. Then, the next day, the eyes of the financial world will be focused on the Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee meeting on September 16th and 17th. It's been widely expected that this may be the date for the 0.25% interest rate hike for the first time in 7 years. That alone can almost teeter the entire monetary and financial systems loaded with debt. What's new and interesting is that the Federal Reserve's chairwoman, Janet Yellen, was a no-show to their annual Jackson Hole meeting held just a few days ago. Every major Federal Reserve member was there except for Janet Yellen, leading to speculation she may be on the way out prior to the meeting in September and replaced by dual Israeli-US citizen Stanley Fischer. The next day of interest is September 23rd. We're going into speculation here, but there are many rumors that CERN's Hadron Collider will be trying to break through to another dimension on that date. Interestingly, if you type in September 23rd, 2015 or 9/23/2015 into Google Maps, it shows CERN's location. In 2009, CERN's director of research, Sergio Bertolucci, talked about this and said, "Out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it." And Brett Bernhoft has theorized the Large Hadron Collider can actually rip the fabric of space-time and open portals into other dimensions to fuse two realities or timelines together. What is interesting about CERN is that its logo has 3 6s in it, and the statue outside of CERN is Shiva, Hinduism's god of destruction. And then, earlier this year, CERN released a bizarre video of workers dancing inside the Hadron Collider in a dance known as Shiva's Dance of Destruction. Then, the next day, on September 24th, the Pope will be speaking at the US Congress, and on September 25th, he'll be back at the UN, where it is expected that they will roll out a new version of Agenda 21 called Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030, just like with Agenda 21, is really an agenda towards a one-world government. It should be noted that French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius stated on May 13, 2014, that we have 500 days to avoid climate chaos, and 500 days from that speech lands on September 24th. Then September 28th is the last of a blood moon lunar tetrad. These eclipses are also said to be involved with seminal moments in Jewish history. This blood moon falls on the very first day of the Feast of Tabernacles called Sukkot. This will be a supermoon, and it will actually be visible in the city of Jerusalem on the Day of Atonement on September 28th. Then, a lot of eyes will be on October 1st as well, as known market predictor Martin Armstrong predicted nearly 30 years ago that October 1st, 2015 would ring in a major crisis, collapse, or paradigm shift in economic and political systems.
Wow, so if we get through September without a major event, are we home free?
Not by a long shot. As I've already stated, the financial, political, and monetary systems as we know them will collapse one way or another, sooner or later, and perhaps very soon. On October 20th, the IMF is expected to announce a reserve currency alternative to the US dollar, which could send hundreds of billions of dollars moving around the world, literally overnight. And just today, on September 1st, Russian President Vladimir Putin has drafted a bill that aims to eliminate the US dollar and the euro from trade between CIS countries. The International Monetary Fund has hinted that they will announce a new world currency as an alternative to the US dollar. The IMF just recently stated that it is holding off on adding the Chinese yuan to the SDR basket until 2016. And I believe this is an ongoing subterfuge war between China and the US. On August 11th, China devalued the yuan by 1.9%, sending shockwaves around the world and setting off a devastating impact to the US economy, causing markets to freefall. The next day, on August 12th, a massive explosion occurred in China, destroying 6 city blocks on the edge of the city of Tianjin. The explosion was so massive and resulted in a mushroom cloud and a giant hole that has many wondering if it wasn't some sort of nuclear weapon. By August 17th, there were reports of military helicopters circling Beijing, along with warnings that China is on the verge of declaring regional martial law because of escalating war tensions with both the United States and Japan. And then, as I mentioned, on August 19th, the International Monetary Fund said that it will freeze its benchmark currency basket until October 2016. The IMF was expected to add the Chinese yuan to the currency basket this September or October. Then, on August 22nd, another massive explosion rocked China's manufacturing heartland in the Shandong province, obliterating another large industrial storage center. The cause of the explosion